Hey guys, Nick here with another gaming news. I wasn't going to do another one of these until next week, but a couple things came up that I thought we should probably sit down and talk about because they're pretty interesting developments. One of the first things that came up is GameSpot and IGN, in lieu of E3 being canceled, have decided to have their own events. GameSpot's going to hold theirs called Play for All. It's going to be live streamed on GameSpot, Giant Bomb, and Metacritic. A few of the developers that are going to be on this to be able to show off their gameplay, they have 2K Games, CD Projekt Red, Deep Silver, Amazon Games, Bethesda, Devolver Digital, Google Stadia, Larian Studios, Mythical Games, Bandai Namco, Perfect World Entertainment, Sega, and Square Enix, just to name those few. Now, IGN's event has also partnered with a couple of people, including Square, Sega, Bandai Namco, Amazon, Google, Twitter, Devolver Digital, THQ Nordic, with publisher presentations planned alongside IGN-led content, such as interviews, demos, and discussions. So they're going to hold this big, kind of wide-scoping event that's going to basically be streamed live. Now, Nintendo, in lieu of E3 being canceled and difficulties that they've had with their employees and them starting to work at home, has decided to basically postpone or cancel their June Nintendo Direct. And that depends on who all you talk to, for the most part, in the actual industry. Now, in other news, it looks like Aaron Greenberg states that the Xbox is going to have Series X gameplay next week. So if we go ahead and go over to Twitter here, which I've got up here, you can see right here, so pumped to see all our partners showing us a first look at Xbox Series X gameplay next week. Also note Also note Xbox Game Studio teams are hard at work on some big summer plans. More details soon, #GetHyped. And then if you scroll down just a little bit further, you can see Ubisoft say, "We'll be there, tune in for our first Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay trailer." Now that looks like we're actually going to get some actual real gameplay out of the Xbox Series X. Hopefully more than just gameplay trailers. Hopefully we'll see some live gameplay on the actual system firsthand, just to see how things actually run. So that looks like that could shape up to be something particularly interesting on it. Now, some of the other news that came out just recently that I saw was another comment from Phil Spencer on the same thing, talking about the Series X. And we'll go ahead and go over to that, where he says, "RT on console will be great. I'm very focused on the work we are doing around dynamic latency input. In my view, the feel of the games this upcoming generation will change as dramatically as any since 2D to 3D, given CPU upgrade, DLI, and memory, bandwidth, and SSD." Now, part of what he means by that, by DLI, is they have a new kind of input structure on their controllers that's supposed to make it far more responsive between what you do on the controller and what happens on your screen. So you're supposed to have a significantly lower latency time on your controller now than you've ever had in the previous console generations from Xbox moving forward. I'm assuming they mean from like wireless on, as in hardwired controllers or plug-in controllers generally don't have much in the way of latency. That's why people use them for things like fighting games. Now, that technology being interesting as it is, PlayStation 5 also has their own technology that they've had come out with their haptic feedback that's supposed to be significantly better than anything we've had as far as like the old force feedback and the physical response of the controller to the player before, where it's supposed to even let you tell the difference between machine gun fire, being able to pull back on a bowstring, various different tension levels and things of that nature on it. Now, it's hard to say how pervasive that kind of technology is going to take us as far as games, if that'll be adopted more onto, say, PC games and other platforms potentially. No one knows yet. I don't know if it's going to be enticing enough for everybody to try to cross-platform that kind of technology and make the PS5 more of a go-to controller or not. Only time will tell on that. Now, There has been one or two other things come up. One being Final Fantasy VII, if you look on Destructoid, has pretty much said that the Final Fantasy VII Remake may be broken out into shorter stories to get out quicker. Now, what that means for you is it means that this could be split into 3+ games. Who knows? Now, they have made very, very good money off of this game, and they have sold a lot of expanded copies and collector copies and exclusive, super mega exclusive copies of this game. So making more of them makes more sense to them from a financial standpoint. Now, I think what they're saying is they genuinely want to try to get the game out quicker to the players and get more content in the players' hands faster. So that means cutting the game up a little bit more. Hopefully they won't be quite as expensive as the initial buy of the Final Fantasy VII Remake if they're cutting the content smaller and smaller. Nobody knows what the price point is, and no hard line was ever set as far as how many different versions of the game or how many sequential games there were going to be to finish their new vision for Final Fantasy VII. So they're not really breaking any promises, and it's no surprise that it was going to be more than 2 games. Matter of fact, if reports are true, the very first game is only not even completely out of Midgar, which is only roughly 15 to 20% of the entirety of the game. So this could go for 5 games or more, potentially, depending on how they split out the content and how much they pack into each one. And how much extra content they want to add, because this new release has extra content in it that was not in the existing game to begin with. So, we're going to have to play a wait-and-see game on that. Other things that happened this week or that got announced is Streets of Rage 4 came out. It's out. Can't say I'm wrong anymore. I checked. It's out. It's finally out. I'm right. Yes! Now, this game is actually pretty cheap. I was a little concerned that it was going to be expensive when it came out. It's only $25, and that's great. I think that's a good price point for a very fan-servicey, retro-style, throwback, brawler-type game. I have been looking forward to this one for some time. I'm hoping to get some good game time with it this weekend. I have a couple of projects I'm working on, but hopefully it'll work out that I can kind of get some game time in on it. And maybe I can bring you guys along for the ride by doing a stream or something. Only time will tell. On top of that, one of the other releases that came out, and I will go ahead and show you guys this. And I make no apologies for this. It is what it is. You can suffer along with me. So please enjoy my first knowledge, and probably your first knowledge, of
Have you seen the latest video game?
Jay and Silent Bob
Wow,
Mall Brawl.
I'd like to get my hands on that game. You mean you haven't played it yet? No!
We can play it on my console in the Nintendo Switch family. I hopped on the call to show you the game, dog. It's Jay and Silent Bob, the game is Ball Brawl. After being rats in the mall, they're AWOL. Now it's your call to go balls to the wall. Stuck in the mall with no time to shop. Dodge the fours and his pesky ridder cops. If you're on the blow, bust the combo for show. KO all your foes until they hit the flow. You can punch, you can kick, you can do a backflip. Silent Bob likes to use a spinning lariat. There are gaggles of enemies that you can battle. Movie is cattle that'll make your brain rattle. Got bruises, sticks, bras that snap. Brawl with your fist or use a weapon to attack. If you're caught in a corner, use a sock full of quarters to attack the skateboarders if they're acting out of order. Be cautious with the bosses cause some are really tough. You better duck the goalie or I'll hit you with a puck. Some are kinda crazy like a horse with Patrick Swayze. Please don't hit the ladies with the strollers and the babies. Play with yourself or a friend on the couch. Jay and Silent Bob, all brawl, and I'm out. Word. All brawl.
So, Snoochie Boochie, I guess? I don't know. I had no idea this was coming out. And if you think your ears and eyes were bleeding, try watching it about 3 times, because that's how many times I had to refilm this in order to get that right. I already kind of don't want to get it. I'm not going to lie. The trailer's just painful. I'm hoping the game being in an 8-bit style and being very Double Dragon-y will just have nice tight controls, and it'll be fun. The trailer is abysmal. Their acting is abysmal. If you're going to use a controller, you're going to show the controller directly. At least know how to use a controller. and that's pretty much most of the news for right now. Sorry to end on a weird note. But that pretty much covers what I had in mind and what I wanted to cover. So for right now, stay home, stay safe, take care of each other, and I will see you guys next time.